Justice League, the very best Marvel movie DC has ever made. Hey there guys, welcome to my movie vlog. My name's John Campea, and this of course is my quick review of the brand new DC Warner Brothers film, Justice League. Now, if you've been following the social media reactions at all, you know that a lot of people are saying that Justice League is a little bit of a mixed bag. Some good, some bad. I'm happy to tell you that while it is a bit of a mixed bag, there is some good and there is some bad. I think DC has accomplished putting more good than bad in this movie, overall creating a film that at the end of the day, there's more good stuff to enjoy than bad stuff to be distracted by, and I think this is a movie a lot of people are going to have fun with. Let's start off with this. I know it's counterintuitive to start with end credits than talking about the regular movie. All I'm going to say is stay for both sets of end credits. Both of these end credits are fantastic, and they're the types of end credits that are going to make comic book geeks, especially those who have followed the comics or know a lot of the animated stuff, just completely wetting their pants. They're so great and imaginative, and I'm so glad they included them both. To me, the heart of this film and what really makes this film enjoyable is all the work they did with the characters. Characters, both individually and their dynamic with each other. The reason I made that little joke at the beginning about Justice League being the best Marvel movie DC has ever made is just me being a bit facetious around the fact that one of the things they really did well was a lot of the banter, the interaction, and the dynamics between the character. And when you see this on screen, you really can see Joss Whedon's thumbprints on this, whether it's from the director's chair or from the writer's chair as he penned the script. You can feel that type of chemistry between the characters that is really honestly something, even though I've liked all the other DCEU films, that was missing a little bit. It is very much present in Justice League. And it's not just one set of characters that has good dynamics. Like, it's not just Batman and Wonder Woman have a good dynamic and everybody else doesn't. They all have terrific dynamics with each other. And the benefit of that is that you go throughout the entire film, when any set of two or more of these characters are on screen together, you are having a really good time watching that screen because you love hanging out with these characters and being in the midst of these characters with the dynamic they have with each other. It really makes for an entertaining experience. And I know a lot of people were questioning whether or not Ezra Miller was a good choice to play the Flash. I'm going to tell you right now, for me, he kind of steals the show. In a movie where Ben Affleck is playing Batman, I thought Ezra Miller as the Flash steals the show. He has this great sense of innocence and optimism all at the same time, which borderlines on naivete, which really makes the character charming and endearing to you as an audience member. But at the same time, you know he's incredibly smart, and obviously he's the Flash. He's quite powerful. As far as Jason Momoa goes, I was really excited when they announced him as Aquaman, but I will admit, seeing in the trailers, although he had some really highlight moments in the trailers, I was a little bit worried with my man, and he would just come across too much like that. But I'm happy to say I love Jason Momoa as Aquaman. He's everything I was kind of hoping he would be. And without giving any spoilers, I'm going to tell you this. One of the big and best moments of the films involves Aquaman with a certain accessory of Wonder Woman. You'll see what I mean. You can also tell there was a memo at some point passed down saying we need more action beats in this film. And while some of the action beats struggle with a couple things, overall it was actually really kind of refreshing and added to that sense of pace in the movie, and I enjoyed them quite a bit. And with the chemistry between the characters thing, don't be misled into thinking it's just all ha-ha, arms around each other with beer and joking, yuck, yuck, yuck. No, there's actually some really good dramatic moments as well between certain characters. There's one highlight moment between Batman and Wonder Woman. Again, you'll see what I'm talking about in the movie, that really stood out to me and stood in contrast. You see, when you lighten the tone a little bit with the rest of it, it makes the dramatic parts stand out even more. So this one scene in particular I'm thinking of, it really had more effective punch because they adjusted the tone throughout the rest of the film that gave it a really nice balance. Going to warn you though, I know some of the trailers made a lot of people get into a lot of debates and discussions and want to theorize about what certain things in trailers mean. And there's a number of those moments from the trailers that are not in this movie. I'm not going to tell you which ones, but I'm just giving you a warning right now. There are a number of key scenes from trailers that did not make their way into the movie or got cut out of the movie at some point. Now, it's not a spoiler to say that Superman is in this movie. We all know that Superman was going to be in this movie, but without giving anything away, I'm going to say this, that when Superman appears in the film, the energy, the impact, everything about this movie seems to be picked up a notch or two when he arrives. And I'm going to say this as well. While there are some people like myself who have always loved Henry Cavill's Superman, this is the Superman that everybody else has been asking for. And even though I already loved Henry Cavill's Superman, I gotta say this is probably the best incarnation of him yet. And I think this is the Superman that most people, even ones who had a problem with him in Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, this is the Superman that a lot of those critics have been waiting for. And I think they're going to be really happy with him. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows for Justice League. There are going to be some people that probably walk out unsatisfied with the movie, and that's totally fine. A couple of things that stood out to me. Number one, it's not just a weak villain, it's a bad villain. Seriously, Steppenwolf didn't really bring anything at all to the film, and I understand that sometimes these superhero movies want to use their villains just as a plot device to further the heroes along in their hero's journey. Steppenwolf for me in this film was lower than that. And speaking of the way he looked, there's just no getting around it. Some of the visual effects in this movie are atrocious. Like, really not up to standard for a 2017 film. And I'm not talking about one little shot where you could tell something's off. Like, for instance, I was one of these guys who said, oh, would everybody just calm down about Henry Cavill's mustache? It's not going to be a big deal. He's going to look fine. I was the one telling everybody, come on, this is a non-story. No, it's an issue. You can tell something's not quite right when you're looking at Superman's face with the mustache and all that, but really, that's just symptomatic of the larger problem of the visual effects in the film. There are a lot of big scene shots in this movie that you're kind of pulled out of every once in a while, and you kind of got to shake your head and bring yourself back into the scene just because the visual effects were so poor. That's not to say that the movie doesn't have moments of great visual effects. It totally does, but there was more weak moments of visual effects than you'd like to see in a film like this. And this one's a complaint I have about some action films sometimes. But in the midst of a lot of great action that they do in the movie, sometimes they sour that action with really bad editing and choppiness, and it just wasn't quite edited right a lot of times in the film. You can just sort of feel it. Like Suicide Squad 2, the story in Justice League is a bit of a mess, and you'll see what I mean when you see that. It's a little bit all over the place, and that's certainly not as bad, not to the level of Suicide Squad. Like, Suicide Squad was a hot mess with everywhere its story was going. It just felt a little bit like that in this movie, but clearly not as bad. But despite all of those weaknesses, when you spend most of your time in the theater with your heroes on screen, and your heroes are the strongest part of the film, both as individual characters and their dynamic and chemistry with each other, and when that's on screen the most time, all that good stuff outweighs those negative things we were talking about that I believe ends up Justice League being a really satisfying and a fun film for most audiences. It's not going to be for everybody, but I do think this is one worth seeing. Let me emphasize again, stay for both sets of end credits. You will thank me later. That'll do it for me, guys, for my quick review of Justice League. Listen, on Saturday, I'm going to do a live streaming full spoiler discussion of Justice League. Hopefully by then, a lot of you guys have had a chance to see the film, and you and I are going to discuss in all the nitty-gritty about Justice League. Keep your eyes open for that. I will let you know on my social media what time that'll come. But what are your expectations been of Justice League? Have you had a chance to see one of the advanced fan screenings? Jump into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. While you guys are here, why don't you take a second, click on that subscribe button, click the thumbs up, leave a comment below. Make sure you follow me on social media, simply at Campea. That'll do it for me, guys. Thanks a lot for joining me, and until the next video, bye-bye.